I'm your host, Lester Zoom Headley, with Zooming Logic and Opinions. The title of this one is Jungle Politics. This is a series that I have created. This is edition number 4. The progress report I'm going to give you concerning jungle politics. After 3 years since Jack the Jackass won the election in the jungle, there was a complete transformation, as I told you in the previous editions. All across the African grassland, peace came about. People, the animals start knowing of their rights. Every single thing began to fall into place. Remember that the lion used to rule for many, many years before that big election. And the snakes were the lion's biggest supporters. And when they had the election in the jungle, all the animals, the birds, the beasts, every one of them voted out the lion and get rid of the snakes. So there was complete transformation because Jack the Jackass won the election and he became the leader all across the land. The animals were happy, they were delighted, and there was a true sense of security even after 3 years of winning the election. There were upliftment, peace, tranquility, and most of all, progress in the jungle. Even the rainforest area, because they had a particular area where they called their rainforest, it opened up vast opportunities, many opportunities, where they happen to make sure that they control visitors from Europe, England, and where have you, coming to explore, to explore and pollute the area, the landmass, hunting the elephants. And Jack the Jackass will have no more of that. He said, I'm not having that anymore. That is done. Those things. And he stood true to all of his election promises. The hunting of the elephant species, those guys in court hats, those guys with long rifles, they weren't of anymore. They did not cross the African grassland anymore. The rain even began to fall more often than ever before, making and keeping the lush green vegetation looking healthy. He provided health care. He provided science, talents. People from other Africa, the human beings from all across the other African continents came and they used it as training ground for athletics. Jack the Jackass created all of that. The trees were producing many berries and fruits. They were all heavily laden. The place was really a fertile place and improving in their many productions under Jack the Jackass. It was never seen like that before. The various international organizations and agencies gave the jungle under Jack a different rating than ever before. 7 diamond rating. And what was most noticeable, Jack the Jackass, as the leader of the jungle, did not offer them any kickbacks, no under the table deals for them to be giving them the 7 diamond rating like most corporate organizations across the world. So Jack the Jackass was indeed what we benchmark as a brilliant leader. The animals saw that. None of that would have happened under the lines with the support coming from the snakes, because you never know what support you would get from snakes. Jack the Jackass, he just did not care concerning any agencies or organizations or special form bodies what the hell they think about him or his environment or in his land, because he was ruling in all honesty and with all decency and giving every animal his due space. He made sure that he asked for no favors. He did not want any favors from anyone. He oftentimes said, if they cannot rate honestly and professionally, they can kiss his royal you know what. Jack the Jackass never makes sport with nothing. For after all, his name was the Most High, His Excellency Supreme Jack the Jackass, and he lived up to that name. Okay? He did not have to fight or make sure that other people know who he is. They knew who Jack the Jackass, who he was indeed. He created under his watch the jungle-free, uninterrupted passage. No blocking, no prevention when it comes to traversing the terrain. That bill or law that he passed, it passed with overwhelming support through the House and in the Senate, which he created. The committee, they voted all in glee with support to this wonderful law where people could traverse and people could do anything, any time of the day, any time of the night in the jungle and don't have to look over their backs, their shoulders. They didn't have to look behind their back. They didn't have to look over their shoulders. Jack the Jackass made sure that everything was going according to how the people voted him. He was the only person in politics that could keep what he promised during his election campaign. And remember, the election campaign was going for 10 months before the election. So he knew his playbook and he worked from his playbook, and it was not vindictive, it was not nasty, it was excellence in overdrive. A jackass running the jungle. No objections whatsoever. No objections. He made sure he cleaned up the jungle. He actually cleaned up the jungle. He also had the lion who ruled the jungle for decades appearing before a tribunal, answering questions for his long failed, sinful, courageous undertaking, mismanaging the jungle. Yes, the lion had to go before this tribunal. And every animal came forward and spoke to the stress and depression and duress that they endure under the lions. That was a big, fantastic committee. Okay? And as you know, the lion was found guilty as hell on all counts. Now, Jack the Jackass pleaded and directed the judging system, which compelled of 7 other animals not to impose a prison sentence on the old fragile lion. However, he asked of the judicial body to have all the lions come up one by one, and he made sure that their teeth were all pulled daily from their heads. They weren't going to prison, but they had to get their teeth extracted. That was how Jack the Jackass dealt with the complacency and the corruption of the land after all these decades. What I told you in part 1, 2, and 3 of this series, Jungle Politics, that you don't mess with a jackass. I preached that for long ago. You don't mess with a jackass. So, ladies and gentlemen, the latest announcement Jack the Jackass had coming up, they were going to classify it as Independence Day. So I tell you what, stay tuned. Keep an open mind, because I'm going to tell you about the Independence celebration coming up on August 17th. That is big news in the jungle. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Lester Zoom Headley. Thank you for listening to this particular one. I hope you enjoy Jungle Politics. Thank you. Thank you.